Today, we revisit a long-standing debate that has circulated for years across social media and political forums alike. Should Tommy Robinson take the definitive step into politics? It's a question many have asked, and for good reason. His influence, ability to mobilize, and impact on public discourse in Britain are undeniable. Countless supporters and commentators have argued that his entry into a political party could mark a turning point. Like it or not, Tommy Robinson has managed to raise issues that many politicians consistently avoid. For some, that alone is reason enough to want to see him in the House of Commons. For quite some time, there has been speculation about a possible connection with Reform UK. However, we all know that the relationship between Tommy and Nigel Farage is, to put it mildly, non-existent. The two have had public fallouts, and as long as that tension remains unresolved, any alliance seems, at best, unlikely. In fact, Tommy himself has made it clear on several occasions that he has no intention of joining Reform UK and prefers to remain outside of that political space. But this week, a new angle emerged in the conversation. In a recent interview, Nick, currently the leader of UKIP, was asked directly whether he would welcome Tommy Robinson into his party. And his response left no room for ambiguity. Nick stated unequivocally that Tommy would be welcome in UKIP, both as a member and as a potential candidate, should he wish to join. He went on to highlight that, unlike Reform UK, which has repeatedly rejected him, UKIP would not only open the door but would actively seek his public endorsement. They are not asking him to give up journalism or abandon his independence. What they want is his backing, his reach, his platform, his voice. And this is where the tone of the message shifts slightly. Nick acknowledged that Tommy has already made significant sacrifices. He's been targeted by the state, censored by mainstream media, and relentlessly vilified in public. Though still a young man, he has a family, children, responsibilities. In Nick's own words, he's done enough. So rather than ask him to throw himself once more into the political fire, Nick offers a different path. Support us from where you are. Use your voice, lend us your strength, let us take the reins this time. Nick even went as far as to say that the country owes Tommy an apology and that, for his bravery, he deserves a knighthood. Some may see that as an overstatement, but it's hard to deny the scale of his impact, or the fact that many of the issues he raised, for which he was once vilified, are now being acknowledged even by outlets that once dismissed or attacked him. So, there you have it, the invitation from UKIP is on the table. The real question now is whether Tommy Robinson will accept it. And, honestly, it's a divisive topic. Some believe that stepping into politics would be a strategic move that could breathe new life into UKIP. Others argue that he is more effective on the outside, retaining the freedom to investigate, challenge, and speak the uncomfortable truths that others won't. Personally, I believe Tommy represents a political and media force that transcends party lines. His influence lies not just in potential votes, but in the way he compels others to address issues they would rather ignore. Entering formal politics could give him structure and backing, yes, but it could also tie him to a system that has shown time and again its willingness to silence dissenting voices. What do you think? Should Tommy Robinson join UKIP? Do you believe the party would stand a real chance if he were part of it? Or is he better off continuing his work from outside Parliament, applying pressure through his platform and investigations? Let us know what you think in the comments. If you appreciate independent reporting, give this video a like and don't forget to subscribe for more unfiltered updates on British politics. In other news, Nigel Farage has made a tongue-in-cheek remark by calling himself the deporter-in-chief after receiving a wave of letters from foreign prisoners pleading to be removed from the UK. Sharing these messages with his audience on the People's Channel, the Reform UK leader revealed testimonies from inmates of Indian and Spanish nationality who had personally written to him. Farage explained that over the past few weeks, his office has received numerous letters, including one from the high-security HMP Fool Sutton. In it, a foreign inmate stated he had been sentenced to 15.5 years for causing grievous bodily harm with intent, something Farage interpreted as evidence of a violent criminal background. The prisoner questioned why he had not yet been deported and argued that sending him back would save the British state a considerable amount of money. In another instance, Farage referred to a letter from an Indian national detained at HMP Ashfield. The man said he had entered the UK on a 1U visa but had now spent 2 years in prison. His request was straightforward. He wanted to be deported without further delay. According to Farage, there are many like him, foreign nationals serving sentences who are eager to be sent home as soon as possible. A third letter came from a Spanish offender incarcerated in another British prison. In his message, he appealed to be repatriated, explaining that he had not seen his wife and children for the past 3 years. Commenting on these letters, Farage jokingly asked why they were all writing to him, suggesting they see him as a key figure on immigration matters, perhaps as someone they believe would actually get things done. Beyond the humor, Farage also used the moment to highlight a shift in government policy. He pointed out that ministers had suddenly announced plans to expedite the deportation of foreign criminals. At present, deportations typically only occur once the offender is within 18 months of completing their sentence, something many critics see as an unnecessary delay. Farage questioned whether this new approach would genuinely be implemented, whether early removals would actually begin, and most importantly, why the government doesn't start deporting individuals from day one of their sentence. This broader debate on foreign offenders was echoed by former Attorney General Sir Michael Ellis, who was blunt in his assessment: the UK has been far too lenient on this issue. He argued that this weakness stems from a consistent failure to pressure foreign governments into taking back their convicted nationals. Joining the criticism was the former head of the UK Border Force, who took aim at Labour's asylum hotel policy. He stated that one of Keir Starmer's gravest political missteps was scrapping the Rwanda deportation scheme. David Bolt, the independent Chief Inspector of Borders and Immigration, told Parliament that he does not believe cracking down on people smuggling gangs alone is an adequate strategy to resolve the migration crisis. Meanwhile, Tony Smith, who also previously led the Border Force, described the decision to abandon the Rwanda plan as one of the most serious strategic errors in recent political memory. Speaking on Labour's pledge to shut down all asylum hotels by 2029, Smith was frank. He sees the target as unrealistic. He agreed with Bolt in saying that the scale of the challenge must be acknowledged and that simply targeting smuggling operations will not be enough to halt illegal crossings. Smith emphasized that the UK's immigration system is already overwhelmed. Over the past year, the country received more than 108,000 asylum applications, a record figure. Yet despite this, the number of hotels housing migrants has not decreased. A recent report indicated that the cost of accommodating asylum seekers is now expected to be 3 times higher than originally estimated in 2019, due to a lack of alternative infrastructure. Smith warned that closing hotels without a viable solution would simply transfer the burden to local councils, which are already struggling to provide housing for their own communities. This, he argued, could fuel social tensions and lead to increased overcrowding in shared housing. He also criticized Labour's proposals for lacking practical detail. In his view, there is little evidence to support how they intend to deliver on their promises. And while agreements with European countries might help, Smith pointed out that years of efforts to dismantle criminal networks have failed to stem the flow of illegal migration. Smith was clear: the only model that has proven effective is the Australian-style deterrence strategy based on swift deportation. He stated that the Rwanda plan aimed to replicate that model, and regretted that it was abandoned for ideological rather than practical reasons. In his closing remarks, he stressed that the message of that policy had been strong and unambiguous: those entering illegally would not be allowed to stay, would not receive asylum, and would not be housed in UK hotels. They would be relocated to Rwanda. He concluded with a firm statement: cancelling that scheme, in his view, was undoubtedly one of the biggest political miscalculations of our time. So, what do you think about everything we've covered in this video? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you haven't already, give us a like and subscribe to the channel for more timely updates on British politics. See you in the next video.